2 nations are in your room, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. 1 people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Isaac and Rebekah had 2 sons. The oldest, Esau, was a skillful hunter. Isaac liked Esau more because he brought home goods and scraps he caught to him. The youngest, Jacob, stayed at home and helped his father with the flocks. Rebekah liked Jacob more as she saw how careful and responsible he was. One night, while Isaac was laying down, he called Esau into his tent and told him to go hunt an animal and prepare a meal for him so he could receive a blessing. While they were speaking, Rebekah was listening to them and made a plan to deceive Isaac and make him give Jacob the blessing instead of Esau. She told him to go fetch an animal from their flocks. She took the animal, made Isaac his favorite meal, and told Jacob to feed it to his father. When Jacob got to the tent, Isaac was confused, but believed him anyway after feeling that his arms felt like Esau, so Isaac blessed Jacob instead of Esau. When Esau got to the tent, Isaac was confused because he already gave his blessing before. And both Esau and Isaac felt deceived and cheated. Isaac said that God would bless him with many children. Jacob will give the blessing of Abraham to his firstborn, and he will inherit the land. So Jacob left. As Jacob went on, he became tired and used a stone as a pillow. While he was sleeping, he had a dream. There was a ladder that the angels were going up and down that reached the heavens. The Lord said to him that he is the God of Abraham and Isaac. He told Jacob that he would give him the land he is lying on. His offspring will spread all around the earth. He told him that he would be with him and would keep him wherever he would go. He promised him that he would be with him until this is done. Jacob said that if God did something for him, he would be his God. Then Jacob headed east to a land called Haran, where his uncle Laban lived. He met the villagers while they were in the field taking over their flocks. Jacob met Laban and his 2 daughters, Leah and Rachel. Leah was the oldest child, and Rachel was the youngest. They both were shepherds. However, Jacob caught the eyes of Rachel, not Leah. Jacob was a great worker and was really good at working the field. Laban was grateful and finally asked Jacob what his wages should be. Jacob wanted to marry Rachel, so he asked for his father's permission. But in exchange for her daughter's heart, Jacob had worked 7 years. Then he could rightfully marry Laban's daughter Rachel. Although Rachel was happy about this, Leah was not, for she was jealous of Rachel. She still acknowledged their soon-to-be marriage. Since Jacob was such an outstanding worker, Laban wanted to keep him longer. So he tricked Jacob into marrying Leah, for Jacob thought he married Rachel. Jacob was not happy about this and made another agreement to marry Rachel. The Lord saw that Leah was not being cared for, so he gifted her with the gift of childbirth. Rachel saw that Leah was able to conceive, so she begged Jacob, "Please give me children, for I have none." Jacob was angry with her because he had no power to give her any children. Leah noticed she was not having any more children. Therefore, she gave her servant Zilpah to him, so she would bear the children instead. Jacob told Laban to allow him to leave his land and make a home of his own for his family. Jacob said he would go through all the flocks and only take the spotted sheep, every dark-colored lamb, and every spotted goat. He agreed that those would be his wages. Once Laban agreed to this, Jacob separated all the speckled males and females and took fresh-cut branches from polar, almond, and plane trees and made white strips on them by peeling the bark and exposing the white inner wood of the branches. Then he placed the peeled branches in all the watering troughs so that they would be directly in front of the flocks when they came to drink. When the flocks were in the heat and came to drink, after the flocks mated and made more speckled and dark lambs, which now belonged to Jacob. Jacob left without Laban knowing, and Rachel took Laban's gods. When Laban found out, he went after him. Laban sent one of his servants ahead to tell Esau that he was living with Laban and that he had many cattle. He hoped to find favor in his eyes. When his servant came back, he said that Esau would meet him with 400 other men. When he heard this, he separated everybody and everything into two groups so that if they attack, one side can escape. Jacob prayed to God, asking that God would protect him from his brother. Jacob sent the flocks ahead to offer to Esau. He did this many times and stayed in his camp so that Esau would warm up to him. One night, Jacob crossed the Jabbok River, and then he went back for his possessions. When Jacob was all alone, he wrestled a man that he could not defeat. They finally stopped fighting when it was daybreak. Jacob then asked to be blessed by the man, and the man replied with, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and humans and overcome." Then the man blessed Jacob, and Jacob named the place Peniel, because he saw God's face, yet his life was spared. Jacob then started limping off because he hurt his hip wrestling. When Israel and Esau finally saw each other, they wept and hugged. Israel told Esau that the people with him were given to him from God. Esau tried to be gracious with Israel and let him keep everything he had, but Israel insisted. Israel then headed to Paddan Aram and built an altar and called it El Ahon Israel.